pilot program gives low-income Los Angeles residents $1,000 per month. So, Los Angeles County residents struggling to make ends meet could get extra help under a pilot program that would provide $1,000 every month directly into their pockets. County officials launched the Breathe program, which would earmark guaranteed funding for 1,000 low income residents. We need proven and diverse solutions for the economic challenges millions of our residents are experiencing every day that ripple across communities and go deep into families, leading to multi-generational poverty. LA County Board of Supervisors 2nd District Holly J. Mitchell said during a Thursday press conference. Guaranteed income is but one yet but powerful tool that we can use to help combat poverty and create an equitable recovery. Mitchell and LA County Board of Supervisors Shayla Kuhl, who represents the 3rd District, initiated the program, which was approved by the board on May 18th. To be qualified for the program, applicants must be 18 years old or older and live in a low income or working class area of LA County. Applicants also must fall below LA County's average median income for a family of four. That means they have to make below $96,000. A single person must make below $56,000 to qualify. The course of this pandemic has revealed the large number of county residents who are living on the brink of financial crisis with insufficient savings to weather a job loss, a medical emergency, or a major car repair, Cole said in a press release. This guaranteed income program will help give residents the breathing room they need to better weather those crises, she added. Amy Beth Castro, assistant professor at the University of Pennsylvania Center for Guaranteed Income Research, applauded the program. There's so much we still do not know about the power of unconditional cash over a longer period of time, Castro said. With a 3-year pilot, it opens up the possibility for families to set larger goals than we have seen in other experiments, and it also gives policymakers a chance to learn how unconditional cash functions alongside other programs over time. Now, this is going to be interesting to see what happens because this is basically universal basic income in a very specific scenario, right? And a lot of people might view this a lot of different ways. And really, the best way to put it, giving someone $1,000 a month just because they are a low income individual won't change anything if that person doesn't change anything that they're doing, right? For example, if someone is a low income individual, there are probably reasons why they are a low income individual. And that could be from a whole multitude of different things. It could be because they don't understand personal finance, right? It could be that they are not willing to work harder, or maybe they just don't have the skills for a higher paying job, or maybe they have a past or perhaps some other sort of scenario, right? Maybe they're addicted to drugs. Who knows, right? Maybe they just spend all of their money on useless things. Maybe they want to be able to work a job and then be able to do whatever they want after they get off of work, right? Out of their day job. There's a lot of different ways to look at it. Or, they could be an extremely hard worker, go to work, go to 2, 3, 4 different jobs, still not make that much money, all because their skill set isn't good enough to get that higher income. There's a lot of different reasons why someone would be in the lower income situation. And if the reasons for them being in this low income situation doesn't change, or I should say their habits do not change, having more money is not necessarily going to be better for them. Now, it could help them if they utilize it right. They could end up using this extra $1,000 to really benefit them, right? The only problem is so many people that are in that segment of the population that are lower income earners, they typically are very bad in the personal finance space. Meaning, an extra $1,000 isn't going to necessarily improve their situation because it's just going to go out the door, right? And you got to change that before you end up changing or like potentially giving people money or all that kind of stuff, right? Like, you need to change their habits. You need to change their understanding of finances. Because here's the thing, right? You could be making $50,000 a year and still be saving a good amount of money, right? If you understand that there are things that you just simply cannot afford, right? That you have to eat no brand name food, that you most likely can't really go out to eat every single day, obviously, right? You gotta basically drink the majority like water or buy in bulk, right? If you want other things, right? It's something to really understand is like just giving people an extra $1,000 doesn't necessarily mean that their situation is going to improve. So, for example, what happens to the majority of people who end up winning the lottery when they were originally low income earners, poverty, drug users, all that sort of stuff? They lose everything within the next 5 years. The majority of lottery winners lose everything within the next 5 years after winning. And when we're talking like 5 million, 10 million, $50 million, $100 million, within 5 years, typically they lose everything. And sometimes even get into debt past that. Like, imagine you winning $10 million, actually pocketing like $5 million after everything's said and done, and you go into $10 million into debt. Like, how crazy would that be? But it happens, right? So I think the only way you could really maybe get something like this to potentially work is if you accompany it by it basically being not necessarily given, but you are earning it in some form. On top of that, you are being educated in the personal finance space. I think that's really the only way you could potentially get a program like this to work. Because if you just hand people money, an extra $1,000, if you just give them an extra $1,000, guess what? They're going to do whatever they were doing with their money beforehand. The majority of the people are going to do exactly what they were doing beforehand with their money with that extra $1,000, right? And a good example of this, right, as to people who end up getting an extra amount of money and are basically going to be doing whatever they were going to do beforehand, is the stimulus checks. The majority of people who end up getting the stimulus checks would just typically do what they were already going to be doing with that money. So, for example, if someone is paying off debt, which, by the way, if you want to learn how to do that, go to 40inbox.com. But if someone's paying off debt, guess what? They're just going to put that onto their debt. If someone is going to go shopping, they're going to just put that extra $1,200 on shopping, right? Like, if they were already spending their money in clothing, Gucci clothes, Gucci slippers, whatever kind of stuff, Prada, who knows what, they're going to end up doing that. Or if they were wanting to buy a new phone, oh, okay, they're going to buy a new phone, but this time they might buy an iPhone. Well, I mean, they're already going to buy an iPhone beforehand, but now they're just going to buy the nicer iPhone. And that's the thing that people need to understand. Just because you get more money doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to change, right? Because you're still stuck with yourself. You're still stuck with the same mind. You're still stuck with the same habits. You're still stuck with the same beliefs. So just giving people an extra $1,000 isn't necessarily really going to change anything. More money just makes you more of what you already are. And that's something to really understand about this. And it's one of the reasons why universal basic income is pretty much never going to work, is because people are still stuck with themselves. You got to understand that. Just giving people money doesn't solve anything. Because you're still going to have people going into debt. You're still going to have people living paycheck to paycheck. You're still going to have people blowing all their money at Starbucks, right? It's just crazy. Feel free to give your thoughts about this. Do you like this sort of thing? Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? Do you agree with what they're trying to do or not? Would you like an extra $1,000 per month coming in if you didn't have to do anything? I think everyone would actually wouldn't mind an extra $1,000, right? No one's going to say like, "Oh no, don't give me an extra $1,000," but it's not really going to change who you are or potentially what you're going to do.